Many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is it worth it to buy a Marvel Superheroes Commander deck? Magic the Gathering's Summer Set is the second installment in the game's collaboration with Marvel Comics, and the first to include a full set of 4 Commander decks. Each precon features a different selection of popular Marvel characters teaming up to accomplish their goals, ranging from heroes to villains, to those that live in between. It is not an exaggeration to say that these are some of the most hyped Commander decks Wizards of the Coast has ever released since the last set of Commander decks that were the most hyped Commander decks that Wizards of the Coast ever released. But with a staggering MSRP of $75 each for the premium versions and oh, sorry, that's $75 for the non-premium versions. That's the one for you poors. The premium version is more than twice that at $160. So do these decks really live up to all the hype? What kind of value can you expect inside? Do the designs of the many, many legends included with each deck actually feel like characters they're supposed to depict? Are they well constructed? And most importantly, are they fun to play with? These are ultimately supposed to be played with, so how well do they play? We'll be covering all that and more as we look at whether or not it is worth it to buy a Marvel Superheroes Commander deck. But first, many Magic the Gathering players ask the question, is my old PC haunted? And the answer is, yeah, it's haunted. Haunted by old out-of-date drivers and motherboards, and are sound cards still a thing? Because I can't get any PC games to run on my PCs anymore. My floppy disk won't even load right. Who am I gonna call? Whoa! Whoa! Micro Center! Da-da-da-da-da-da. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Micro Center. Wait, are you a ghost or a ghost buster? Don't worry about it. At Micro Center, the only thing terrifying is how much you'll save on computers parts, and strangely, Magic the Gathering's products. And also, I think they have Pokemons. Whoa! Acer Nitro 4K gaming monitor for $299.99. Clev Crass 1TB NVMe SSD for just $179.99. Oh, whoa, it's a power spook. I mean a power spec 850 modular power supply for $89.99. Scary good value. What say you, actual Micro Center customer?
I just walked in for a thumb drive and got Magic the Gathering product that I purchased at or below MSRP.
Oh, he's a ghost! He's a ghost! He died in the last ad. Continuity. All right, let's start busting these savings. Wait, if you're busting the savings, then would that not imply that the savings themselves have been done away with? The internal logic of this paid advertisement is collapsing in on itself. I must bust the Ghostbuster ghost in order to save Micro Center's big savings. The previous sentence makes sense. Huh? Micro Center, I choose you for Magic the Gathering products at or below MSRP and computers. A Marvel Superheroes Commander deck contains the following. 1 ready-to-play pre-constructed Commander deck of 100 cards, featuring 30 brand new to Magic designs. Also included are 10 double-sided tokens, a quote-unquote deck box, and that's it, except for a strategy insert and reference card. Despite the fact that these cost $75 each, they do not contain a collector booster sample pack, a life wheel or other life tracker, an oversized foil commander card, plane chase or arch enemy cards, all of which have appeared in previous commander decks that were sold for significantly less. While I have had my criticisms of the collector booster sample packs in the past, it is particularly disappointing that these decks did not receive sample packs, given that this Marvel crossover is intended to introduce non-Magic playing Marvel fans to the game as a whole. So never mind that collector booster sample packs should have never been taken away to begin with, and never mind that as one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, Commander precons ever, they maybe should have thrown one in there to help justify the price. Never minding all of that, just for new players coming to the game for the first time, possibly through this product, putting one of those sample packs in there is a great way to expose them to the idea of a Magic booster pack, to show them some of the more premium treatments and get them more engaged in the game, which is supposed to be the point of Universes Beyond, bringing in those new players. So let's make it extra special, not just extra expensive. But are they even selling for MSRP? Looking at online marketplaces, I can see on Manapool that Wakanda Forever, the Selesnya Artifacts deck, is selling for about $69. Nice. Or maybe not, as it is all uphill from there. Avengers Assemble, the Jeskai Modifications deck, is selling for about $75. The Fantastic Four, the Non-Creature Spells deck, is selling for about $80. And Doom Prevails, the Grixis Connive deck, is selling for $117. Do not pay markups. Just don't pay markups. I don't even know yet if you should pay MSRP, but I do know that $117 for the non-premium version of a Commander deck is just unacceptable. They used to sell these for $19.99, actual stated MSRP, and they had the same amount of cards printed on the same thing, cardboard. But what they didn't have was Dr. Doom on them, so fork it over, nerds, I guess. As with Warhammer 40k and Final Fantasy, Wizards of the Coast is releasing premium, all-foil versions of these Commander decks. Do these have the added premium cardboard, such as collector sample boosters, oversized foils, or spin-down life wheels? No. But they do have an MSRP of $159.99 each. And apparently you'd be lucky to get them for that, because they're currently selling on the secondary market for $245 for Wakanda Forever, $220 for Avengers Assemble, $215 for the Fantastic Four, and I can't believe I'm saying this, $349 for Doom Prevails. I will not be evaluating the financial worth of the premium precons in this video. I'm just... No, okay? No. I would still like to look at the financial worth and quality of the non-premium Commander precons and also talk about how well they were constructed, how well they play, and overall how much I think they are worth it to buy, but this video will be ignoring the premium versions in our evaluation. In fact, I have gone through my deck library and put complete buy it now Commander decks online for you to buy. Some of these are my old build it yourself precons, some are just cool budget builds from myself and other members of TCC staff. But I have all of these available at my landing page at www.manapool.com/TCC. I genuinely love how well Manapool's optimizer works to reduce the cost even on these already low-priced decks and cards, not to mention the number of packages to a much more affordable amount. Great shipping optimizer. Check it all out at manapool.com/TCC. So before we dive into gameplay, let's take a look at what that $75 MSRP, again, do not pay markups, is going to be getting you with Marvel Superheroes Commander decks. What kind of value even is in these? Financial value. If you were to buy the singles for each Marvel superhero deck individually, you would need to pay just over $1,000. The high values of each precon are due to a couple of factors. The first is the inevitably inflated price of a brand new card during preview season. Virtually every single time we get a new precon, especially one for a Universes Beyond property, most of the brand new cards have a ridiculous presale price. That price almost always drops considerably once the product hits shelves. For example, the Turtle Power Precon from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had a total presale value of, no, I'm not exaggerating, $645. This was due in large part to the 5 main commanders available in the deck list, carrying a price of around $50 a piece. But the other new cards were also ridiculously expensive and, as it turns out, more expensive than would hold. As I said at the time in my Is It Worth It video for Turtle Power, the price during pre-sale is a mirage. And lo and behold, a little over a month later, the value to buy all the singles in this commander deck had cratered to just $84. Again, I say this every video, and I am glad that we now have more and more evidence as we now have more and more Universes Beyond decks to support it, but do not pay pre-sale prices. They are almost always inflated, and while there are exceptions to every rule, for the most part, these prices will drop to more accurate levels once the product hits the shelves. This is especially true for pre-sale prices on Commander Precon new card designs. That being said, there is a legitimate reason for the high value of Marvel Superheroes Precons. No, it's true, a legitimate reason. To heck with pre-sale pricing, let's look at the reprints in these decks because there's actually quite a lot of juice here. In particular, each precon contains a reprint of one of the Battle Bond lands, which are some of the best 2-color commander fixing in the game. They're also some of the most expensive commander fixing in the game. The highest value of the included Battle Bond lands was $30 a week prior to the deck's release. Thankfully now that price is going down, but there's a lot of other high-end reprints as you'll see in a moment. So, because we are still stuck in pre-sale pricing, and because there have also been shipping delays on the commander decks as well, I want to focus on the financial analysis of reprints to start. Knowing that, in addition to the prices we are about to discuss, there are still 30 original card designs in each deck. By looking only at reprints as financial analysis, just what do we find? As of the time of recording, if you were to buy all the reprints in Wakanda Forever, you would have to spend $116. If you cut out the bulk reprints, there would still be 19 left worth $1 or more, and it would cost you about $106. In addition to the $18 Bountiful Promenade, the deck's Battle Bond land, Wakanda Forever contains the nice reprints of Hammer of Nazan and Birds of Paradise, which cost about $15 and $12 respectively. There are also several good reprints in the $2 to $5 range, including the rarely reprinted Loyal Retainers. In terms of gameplay, Wakanda Forever is a Selesnya Artifacts deck featuring a new twist on an existing kind of token, Vibranium, which functions identically to the Power Stones from Brothers War, except Vibranium is indestructible. But otherwise, the two tokens do the same thing. They tap for colorless mana, and they can only be used to cast artifact spells or activate abilities. Selesnya is an incredibly rare color pair for the classic commander archetype of artifacts, giving Wakanda Forever a unique gameplay appeal as a baseline, before even diving into the specifics of its construction. In addition to its artifact theme, Wakanda Forever has a very flavorful Monarch component as well. Though the deck's commander, T'Challa, the Black Panther, doesn't deal with Monarch himself, 11 cards in the deck list involve the Monarch. The concept for this deck is very cool, but it has a couple construction issues. The curve is very high, with nearly 30 cards that cost at least 4 mana, while just 13 cost 2. Fortunately, most of the expensive cards in the list are artifacts that can be cast using Power Stone tokens. The deck also has a nice array of interaction, ramp, card advantage, and win conditions. So if you draw enough cheap plays in your first few turns, the deck should hum like it's made of Vibranium itself. Despite its potential for clunky draws, fans of artifacts, the Monarch, or the entire Kingdom of Wakanda will certainly enjoy this precon. From a flavor perspective especially, Marvel fans tell me the designers of this precon knocked it out of the park. Moving on to Doom Prevails, if you were to buy the reprints alone for this deck, as of the time of recording, you would need to spend $142.35. Eliminating all reprints not worth $1, you'd still have 21 of them, and it would cost you $130.59. In addition to that $30 luxury suite, which thankfully will soon be falling in price, Doom Prevails contains 3 other reprints worth more than $10. These include the highly sought-after Black Market Connections and Kindred Dominance. There's also a reprint of the Uncommon Withering Torment, expensive for its rare provision of instant speed enchantment removal to black. The card's reprint in this deck will likely be a sizable blow to its price, regardless of printing, which could be great for everyone. Reprints are great, I love them. But do I love how Doom Prevails plays? Not that much. Doom Prevails is a Grixis Villains deck centered around the Connive mechanic that has quickly established itself as the defining mechanic for evildoers in the Marvel the Gathering cinematic universe. The deck's face commander, Dr. Doom, King of Latveria, is a repeatable Connive outlet that shores up the mechanic's primary weakness. This is a highly synergistic deck that utilizes many different methods of profiting off a heavy discard theme, including graveyard recursion, discard triggers, and the mayhem mechanic introduced in Marvel's Spider-Man. 29 of the 31 creatures in the list are either villains themselves or become villains when they enter play. That said, the deck has an even more prominent instance of the same weakness as Wakanda Forever. The curve is exceptionally clunky. The deck contains just 9 2-drops, and 2 of them, Batroc the Leaper and Terminate, are much better when cast later. That means if you don't draw 1 of the 7 good turn 2 plays in your opening hand, or 1 of the 3 1-mana artifacts, you won't get to start playing Magic until turn 3 at the earliest. While this deck is certainly capable of a lot of sweet gameplay in the late game, and while the deck absolutely feels every bit as nefarious as a villains deck should, the lack of early plays available is utterly egregious. Spoilers, but I strongly feel this is the worst deck of the 4 by a wide margin. Looking at the financial value of Avengers Assemble, if you were to purchase all of the reprints in that deck, you'd have to spend $126. But even eliminating the bulk, you would have a remaining 23 reprints with a value of $112. Like the other 2 decks, chief among them is that Battle Bond land, in this case the $17 Spectator Seating. The precon includes 2 more reprints that exceed $10 as well. Kindred Discovery at $14 and Raise the Palisade at $10. The precon also includes the first ever reprint of Folk Hero, the background enchantment from Baldur's Gate. In terms of gameplay, Avengers Assemble is a Jeskai Heroes precon, full of ways to buff your favorite Marvel characters with +1/+1 counters. Case in point, the deck's commander, Team America Captain America Team Leader, is a very powerful 3-mana commander that helps your other heroes hit hard and fast. Every major Avenger is present in this precon, from A-listers like Iron Man, Thor, and Samuel Jackson, to secondary characters like Gwyneth Paltrow and War Machine. What's more, the many new mechanical designs in the precon feel like the characters they're meant to depict, many Marvel fans tell me. Professor Hulk is a massive blue creature with trample that draws a ton of cards. Absolutely he is, I am told. Ant-Man is a roguish little guy who slips past defenders to make treasure tokens. Yes, I would say so. What's more, the deck has a smooth curve featuring 18 2-drops and plenty of late game plays like She-Hulk, Wallbreaker, and Winter Soldier, Reborn Avenger. It's got great cheap interaction for permanents of all kinds, ton of card draw in various forms, and far more graveyard recursion than you might expect for a deck that is not remotely Golgari. The deck literally has as much 2-mana ramp as Doom Prevails has passable turn 2 plays at all. The contrast between this deck and Doom Prevails is night and day, as Avengers Assemble is both an incredibly fun deck to play, a great overall design, and, again, I am told, an outstanding depiction of Earth's mightiest heroes. Looking at the Fantastic Four, as of the time of recording, to purchase the reprints from this deck, you would need to spend $113.60. Meanwhile, the 20 cards worth more than $1 would run you just about $99. That is. The relatively low value of the Fantastic Four is due in large part to the price of its Battle Bond land, Rejuvenating Springs, which is currently only a $6 card. Granted, $6 is more than most lands cost these days, but compared to its compatriots, Rejuvenating Springs is not carrying its weight in the total value of this precon. While this does raise the question as to whether you are buying any of these precons just for their Battle Bond lands, I feel it is also worth noting that just 2 cards in the Fantastic Four are worth more than $10. The $21 Quantum Misalignment from Doctor Who, and the classic extra combat step card Seize the Day, currently sitting at about $15. The deck also includes the first ever reprint of the Thunder Junction card, Annie Joins Up, renamed Franklin Joins Up. I mean Franklin's Finality, for the purposes of immersion. In terms of gameplay, the Fantastic Four is a 4-color deck, dull surprise, built around non-creature spells. Each of our 4 heroes have monocolor casting costs, but all of them have abilities that grant them a 4-color, no-black identity. So you can pick whichever of Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, or The Thing happens to be your favorite character to occupy the command zone. Personally, I feel Mr. Fantastic is the best strategic choice, as he has one of the cheapest casting costs as well as a nice card advantage ability. But you can also switch it up every time you play if you want some variety. The commander you choose will have dramatically different effects on the deck's gameplay. The non-creature spell theme is a great way to handle a team that by definition only includes 4 members. From a flavor perspective, the many spells in this deck feel like manifestations of the Fantastic Four's superhuman abilities and scientific prowess. The many different forms of casting spells from exile are great representations of the multidimensional nature of many Fantastic Four plotlines, I am told. Sorry, I haven't seen any Fantastic Four movies or cartoons. I just haven't. As for gameplay, the deck is highly synergistic thanks in large part to similar templating on the Fantastic Four cards themselves and the many enablers and payoffs for non-creature spell strategies that already existed in Magic across the 4 colors of the precon. That said, the deck has a similarly high curve to Wakanda Forever, 14 2-drops versus 29 cards that cost 4 or more. This problem is exacerbated by the relatively few cheap ramp spells. There are just 4 true turn 2 mana accelerants in the list. Given all 4 potential commanders are also mana sinks, this is not ideal. All in all, this is a strong and flavorful precon, but its construction is not without issues. So overall, if I were to ignore financial value entirely and just focus on deck design, how would I rank these 4 decks? Going by overall gameplay and deck construction, my number 1 pick would be Avengers Assemble. Again, this is completely ignoring the financial value, with Wakanda Forever and the Fantastic Four coming in a pretty close tie for second. Doom Prevails is last, and honestly, this deck is a disappointment. While there are some cool individual cards in it, the game plan and gameplay just doesn't really work. And thus, looking at just the quality of the deck itself, this is my last pick. I know I've made a lot of jokes about how I don't really watch Marvel, but a lot of people I trust who are into Marvel have said that these commander decks are really flavorful, but that's actually kind of cool, and it's what Universes Beyond should be. Commander decks. Commander decks are exactly where Universes Beyond products and properties like this should live, and I think that if, like Warhammer, like Doctor Who, like Fallout, Marvel had released these decks without the deluge of a standard legal set, the jumpstart, the bundles, all the other products, they would have been better received in a much better light. So can we evaluate these decks by themselves, in isolation, looking at them for what they are, a Commander Precon product, and not let feelings of Universes Beyond fatigue, or more specifically Marvel overload, cloud that evaluation? I certainly hope so. Final conclusion: Financially speaking, the Marvel Superheroes Commander decks are worth it to buy. The financial value of these decks is very impressive, as from their 70 reprints alone, every precon clears the $100 mark, and some by a wide margin. When you then factor in that there are still 30 new card designs in each deck, even if those new designs tank in price after release, which not all of them will, all 4 decks are going to end up providing very good value. And while I am not the biggest Marvel fan, all 4 of the Marvel Superheroes precons feature excellent mechanical depictions of their many fan favorite characters, I am told. I think it's really great that Marvel fans will get to feel satisfying and rich flavor for the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Wakanda, and Doom. That said, the cost of these decks, especially the secondary market markups on Doom Prevails, sours my taste incredibly. And since I already think that it's ridiculous to ask players to pay $75 for a Commander Precon, I cannot help but let my reaction to some of these decks be influenced by those secondary market markups. I'm still giving Avengers Assemble an A grade. It's a great design, great value, and a B+ grade to both Wakanda Forever and the Fantastic Four. But when I factor in the deck construction problems with Doom Prevails and the ridiculous markups, I'm just gonna flat out say, do not buy this deck. It's a D, unless of course you can get it for MSRP, in which case, I guess, acceptable, but it's a really disappointing design. It does not play well. I hope very much this video has been of some help to you, and remember that Magic does put out a lot of precon decks every year. High prices when they hit shelves, sure, but they often lower when time has passed. As always, I have curated a collection of Commander precons available at or below MSRP at www.cardkingdom.com/TCC. It's also where you can pick up the Academic Deck Box, a deck box that I helped design. It's a deck box for everyone, and it, along with Commander precons at or below MSRP, as well as my favorite cards and accessories, is all available via our affiliate link at cardkingdom.com/TCC. But again, I and Card Kingdom do still encourage you to start at that local game store. This is an option and a tool for you to browse and use if you need it. If you go down to your local game store when it is possible and when it is reasonable to do so, try and spend some money where you spend time playing this great game. You're supporting your Magic community when you do.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
What's up? It's Shuffle Up and Play, and today, a flashback pre-release in honor of Spice 8 Rack. We are doing pre-release of...
Yo! Lorwyn! Let's go!
Let's go!
Oh, I'm forcing goblins. Oh, hell yeah! It will be so funny if I hate this format after this show.
I actually pulled a Lily and I was like, what are these planeswalkers? I don't like this.
Hey, I didn't pass yet.
Oh, sorry.
Passed you.
Would you stop freaking Spencer out?
All I need to do is to be really good at the game and incredibly lucky.
I'm putting on my shoes. I'm putting on my jacket. I got a funky plan.
I want numbers going by me.
Yeah.
Symbols.